Welcome to Okaloosa Today, local news and information. Connecting the communities of Powell Beach, Destin, and Okaloosa County.
Welcome to Okaloosa Today, our show with news about Okaloosa County, the City of Destin, and the City of Fort Walton Beach. I'm Kathy Newby, Public Information Officer for Okaloosa County, and I'm going to start this show with our guest, Commissioner Dave Parisot. We want to welcome him today.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I'm very glad to be here.
We thought we would talk about something different today. A lot of people don't realize that we have organizations that help governments do their job throughout the state in all 67 counties, and that's the Florida Association of Counties. I think a lot of people don't realize that we're members of that organization and what all they do to assist us, and you know, because many of you are elected officials, and really even I as an employee had to learn how the government works. So that's kind of how we're going to start out talking today, Dave.
Yeah, with FAC, or Florida Association of Counties, we do interface quite a bit. For example, they provide the County Commissioner Certification Program, or what they call the CCC program, and 7 years ago they started what is called an Advanced Commissioner Certification. And I completed the CCC course in my first year as a commissioner in November of 2011. And then this last April, I completed the advanced course, advanced certification, and I'm the first Okaloosa commissioner to have completed the ACC course.
So all of the commissioners have completed the CCC course, and then you've also taken the advanced course, and I think we have some photos of you getting those awards and accolades.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and well, our two newest commissioners, Commissioner Wines and Commissioner Boyles, are going taking the CCC course now.
Okay.
So they have not been commissioners long enough to, it takes a year if you meet all of the criteria.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And what all do you cover? Can you just touch on a little bit what y'all cover in those classes?
You've got ethics, public records law, sunshine law, growth management, public safety, the whole the whole gamut of what you do as a county commissioner.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the meetings and conferences too that FAC holds.
Yeah, a critical part of the Florida Association of Counties is their interface with the Florida legislature, and as such, FAC has a number of registered lobbyists with the state of Florida, and we hold a number of meetings or conferences each year. In September, they hold it's called the Legislative Planning Conference. Now, I just was at that last week, and that's kind of the preliminary to the November conference, which is the legislative conference. We go through issues that are kind of priorities to the counties, what the lobbyists at FAC anticipate are going to be bills that are going to be introduced during the next session, and then and there you have various committees. You've got growth management, you have public safety, health and human services, and of course a big issue on that is the Medicaid for the next few years here, and the amount of tasking that we get financially from the counties to provide to that program. There's also transportation, finance, administration, and you just kind of go through workshops at that planning conference. And then in November, that leads into the legislative conference. Right? By that point in time, the legislature has already started pre-filing bills, and so we get an opportunity to refine what we did at the planning conference. And
do you come up with sort of a scope of work for the year for your county, and do you work with some of the other counties on that?
Well,
or?
yeah, there's all 67 counties are eligible to send representatives to that. Some do and some don't. But I have found that I've been going to those for the last 2 years, and I have found them very beneficial for me to stay up to date with what's happening in the legislature, and also to then bring that information back and brief our board on it. I do generally write a written trip report after all these trips and provide it to the board so that, to share that information. But we do publish then, FAC publishes a priority list for priority legislation of what they feel is the most important things that impact the most counties. Now, there are going to be individual issues that we may have some issues in Okaloosa County that don't necessarily apply to a whole bunch of the other counties.
Sure.
But we have other ways that we can use those, and if those types, there are bills that affect Okaloosa County that may not affect all, we still can use the not only the FAC lobbyists, but our own lobbyists that we hire in Tallahassee and that. And in this lobbying effort, the Florida Association of Counties, they work with other Florida associations also, like the League of Cities, the associations that the property appraiser and tax collector have, the clerk of courts, and that, and they just kind of work together to
gain support.
Support, and many times it seems like the last few sessions of the legislature is to try to prevent harm being done to us at the county. So
I know that they got real involved in home rule, and home rule is a good example of one of those initiatives that FAC got involved in and helped us with. Also, some of the health care issues that we
right.
had.
And well, I'd say home rule is probably the priority issue for both the Florida Association of Counties and the League of Cities on that. And then another legislative meeting that we have each year is usually in March or early April, when we call the legislative day, the county legislative day. And on that, it's a one-day trip to Tallahassee. And generally in the morning, there'll be be key people from the legislature. In the past, we've had the President of the Senate, we've had the Speaker of the House, other key committee chairmen will come to the meeting, and they'll brief the assembled county commissioners who are at the meeting, and also the FAC staff. And then in the afternoon, we do what we call walking the halls. At that time, then we will coordinate and have appointments made with either our local legislation or sometimes with key committee chairmen for the legislature, or with some of the governor's key staff. Now, last year in April when I was up there, I had one of my appointments was with Transportation Secretary Parisot, and I was surprised. I mean, he gave me about 25 to 30 minutes in his office with him, and gave me an opportunity to not only thank him for the work that the state transportation work that's being done in Okaloosa County, but to also talk to him about some of our key priority projects, like at the Bob Sykes Airport with that south entrance from Highway 90, and getting the Fairchild Road with the dirt to pave. Talked about the P.J. Adams bypass around Crestview. So it's an opportunity to see our key government staff at the state level when we're up in Tallahassee for that day.
That's usually in the springtime.
Yes, that's while the session is in place, and that's it's a 60-day session. It usually starts I think it's the second Tuesday of March and runs for 60 days after that. So it usually ends around end of the first week of May.
So a lot of work goes in at the end of the year and the beginning of the year to prepare for that time of year. So a lot of work going on behind the scenes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I feel you have to be informed when you go to these conferences, and I do a lot of research and things. I've got files that what was happening in many of these county issues in past years. Not only with the legislation, but with the FAC position on it, and I go back and I review those, and so that when the topic comes up at the conferences, you can discuss it from an educated standpoint.
Good.
On that. So
Good. So that kind of lets folks know what kind of goes on behind the scenes and how we get a lot of assistance from them and the lobbyist, and which is so important, and about how many projects out there that you do have to be knowledgeable on, and how many meetings you all go to. So, and you know, talking about facts, I mean, the Restore Act is certainly going to be one of those initiatives that FAC has been involved in and will also support us on. So that'll kind of move us into a Restore Act update. Commissioner Parisot?
Okay, yeah, the FAC started getting involved with us on before Restore Act was. They were a good help to us, particularly with some of their key lobbyists in working with the 8 counties, particularly in the Panhandle, which you referred to as the disproportionately impacted counties. And we campaigned hard, worked with our congressional delegation in Washington, D.C., the representatives and the senators from the state of Florida, to kind of tailor the Restore Act such that in Florida the money comes to the counties rather than to the state. It was a hard-fought battle, and but we did get that. It was adopted into the Restore Act. So, but what that does, it lays an awful lot of responsibility and accountability on the counties, and we're ready to accept that and step up to the plate and make it happen.
Right, we have already started preparing for that. Let's start with explaining to our viewers what Restore stands for.
All right, I'm going to have to read this one because it is a
mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Let me find that sheet that has that on it. It's Resources and Ecosystems, Sustainability, Tourist Opportunities, and Revived Economics.
Of the Gulf Coast States Act of 2012. Now this is a result from the lawsuit against British Petroleum. So most folks know this is as a result of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. What can Okaloosa County anticipate for funding benefits and in the Restore Act? We have talked about this a little bit on this show. Just want to sort of talk about, I think Pot 1, Dave, since that is the money that is going straight to Okaloosa County, and we'll touch on the other pots of money and kind of how this process goes and what we've done locally.
All right. Yeah, one thing to understand is there has not been a dollar value assigned yet. That is still going through the court system. It's a 5-phase court system being conducted by a federal judge in New Orleans. They just completed the first phase in July. Last I saw, they're supposed to start the second phase, I think this week. And there's 3 phases after that, unless there comes an out-of-court settlement prior to all 5 phases being completed. So right now, I call us, we're in the planning phase for our Pot 1. And that really got kicked off seriously when the Board of County Commissioners selected the 11 citizens from the county that forms the Okaloosa Restore Advisory Committee, or the ORAC. Now this is an advisory committee to the Board of County Commissioners. It is a sunshine committee. They meet in the public, and the public are welcome to that. The meeting dates and times are advertised on the county website. If you go to the homepage and click on Restore Act, plus we post all of the meetings are recorded and posted on the website, as well as all of the briefings on Restore that I've been giving to the Board of County Commissioners going back to July of 2012.
Well, you have certainly been the front runner in this process, Dave. I mean, you have been the one who is so knowledgeable. That's why we wanted to bring you on the show today. And really, this ORAC committee it's an advisory committee, and basically it's part of laying that process. I mean, even though we don't even know how much money we're going to have, we don't know exactly when we're going to get any money, but I think it's important, and I know that the commissioners felt it was important to go ahead and get this committee in place. That's what the other counties surrounding us are doing as well, and getting this process in place so that when that money comes, we are ready to go.
Yeah, there is a lot of planning that has to be done, and what we have to develop and get submitted to Treasury before any money comes is what's called the multi-year implementation plan, and that's the primary function that the ORAC is working on. It's there is a lot of guidance in the Restore Act itself. There's additional guidance that will be provided to us by Treasury. Just the beginning of this month, on September 5th, we got what is referred to as the draft Treasury rules. as to how, when the money does become available, as to how it's going to flow. But again, I said that's a draft. So there's a 60-day public comment period, which goes through now till November 5th. And if anybody's wants to see that draft Treasury plan, it is on our Restore website. It was posted on September 6th by our IT department. And in there is the instructions, I think it's about page 2 or 3 of the plan, that says how you can input direct to Treasury if you got any inputs on the draft plan from the Treasury.
Well, that's great information, because we certainly have a lot of knowledgeable citizens in this area. And also, we have a consultant firm too, Matrix Design, that is
Yes,
sort of helping us.
Yes, we
helping the ORAC committee. I mean, again, because these are citizens. This is not the county commissioners. These are citizens that we want their involvement, and even the ones who aren't on the committee, we want the public involved.
Yeah, that was a conscious decision by the Board of Commissioners to not have any commissioners on it. Now, you look at some of our surrounding counties, and they do have county commissioners sitting on it. But we wanted as much citizen involvement as on this plan. And, you know, they're an advisory committee to the commissioners. So we definitely will get to have our say on the plan. We're actually the ones that will be approving the plan for the county before it gets forwarded to the Treasury Department. So we'll get our speak in it, and but I think we've got a very good and well-informed and a very good diverse group of citizens on that, with very multiple disciplines and all that, and I think it's really going to work out best for the county that way.
And what this committee is doing, if I can just read from some of your notes, is coming up with methods to evaluate and select individual projects, assessing return on investment for those projects, the format to use to submit projects, just to name a few. And again, like you said, the U.S. Treasury input, that's welcome as well. So is that what's going on at these meetings at this
yes,
point?
then the ORAC committee, they usually meet once or twice a month, and again, their meetings are all advertised on our website, and they're going through the process with the consultant that we hired was Matrix Design, and that was through a competitive bidding process, and they are partnered with AvCon and with the University of West Florida with the Haas Center. As you're well aware, a lot of our impact in Okaloosa County was economic, and having the economist Dr. Lewis from the Haas Center, I think, is going to be a big plus on us on that team there.
So hopefully we can start taking projects in January 2014. That is the goal?
Well, yeah, that's going to be dependent at this point in time on one, how well the ORAC does on establishing the criteria and in that. But one of the things that we are going to have to wait on, I picked up out of the draft Treasury rules, is that Treasury has decided that they are going to provide a bit of a standardized format for the plans that need to be submitted to Treasury. That doesn't mean that we don't move forward with our planning. It's just that before we can have a finalized format for these projects to be laid out, we're going to have to get some input from the Treasury Department.
Okay, Dave, any final comments, how you want people to certainly they can call you and get more information. You're available to speak to any community outreach program.
Well, yeah, and everyone, they need to keep in mind that the restore process is still in the court system as far as any monetary assessments on that. So we do have time to plan, and that's where we're in right now. It's restore. It is a very complicated program, and as you stated, I am available to, I'd call it a community outreach program, to talk to various groups. You can contact me directly or contact you at the Public Information Office for the county.
And we can schedule that,
and,
absolutely.
So with that, we are moving forward. I think we're going in the right direction. I just as soon go slow and get it right rather than to go fast and get it wrong.
Very good. So again, we do want you involved in that, and we want to thank Commissioner Parisot for joining us and updating us on these important county issues. We want to thank Cox for the support of Okaloosa Today show. And up next is Doug Rayner from the City of Destin.